Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. We were recently in the last part. If you didn't see it, check that part out first so you don't get confused on where we're at now. We were talking about X-Men number 16. We're continuing it. And we came to this funny part where the Thing tries the whole tossing Wolverine thing. The Thing is not Colossus, okay? So that Tyrannosaurus that he tossed him at, by the way, a Tyrannosaurus from the splash page, you can see he attacked them. It just batted Wolverine right back. The Thing knocked him out. So after Cyclops scared the whole Tyrannosaurus away, they go searching for society and they find this weird alien-like pyramid structure with aliens that, or monsters or whatever, that attacks them. A couple of pages of fight scenes, and then Skull the Slayer shows up. And he's like, wow, it's only been 3 years since we sent that message out, to be continued. But better late than never. I agree. Next issue has Wolverine and the Thing on the cover. No Spider-Man. My only complaint is no Spider-Man. I understand you don't want that much comedic relief in an X-Men book. Come on. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because they had Spider-Man 2 stories back. Maybe they didn't want to OD on Spider-Man. That could be true also. Still, nonetheless, he is part of the FF and he should have been part of this mission. Why have 3 when you could have 4? You could have the whole team. Maybe you stay behind to watch the kids. I just pray that is not what FF turns into after Fantastic Four starts up again. That's what my hope is. I am getting that comic, by the way, Fantastic Four 600. Absolutely check this out. In every single other book I mentioned this week, there is nothing that I could say any bad about any of the books I've talked about thus far. You're going to read the whole issue? Alright, I'm going to continue on. 2 retroactive books I got this week. Retroactive in the 90s, Superman and Green Lantern. Had to get Green Lantern for the 90s because I love Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern. I did not collect the series in the 90s or any of the older books, but I figured why not. And Superman, done by one of my favorite artists, John Bogdanov. He was one of my top favorite artists next to Dan. Dan Jurgens will always be my #1 favorite, but John Bogdanov, worked by Brett Breeding. They were like a team. Brett Breeding, John Bogdanov, Dan Jurgens. And I feel so bad I cannot remember. There was another guy's name, or 2 other guys' names. But they did amazing work in the 90s with Superman, and this book was no exception. And the 90s book for the Green Lantern was also awesome. Check them out. Both issues are from the 90s. And stories that never made it, but should have made it. Superman does lose his hair. He had long hair, and he comes back to Earth, and he lost all the hair on his face. It's kind of funny. But obviously they didn't show it because I guess it would take too long for his hair to grow back out, or it would be a weird plot hole if he just all of a sudden out of nowhere did. Well, anyway, Brightest Day Aftermath, The Search for Swamp Thing, Part 3 of 3 happens. Batman, Superman, and John Constantine save Alec Holland. He confronts Alec Holland. He says, I have a question. I'm here to kill you, but I'm going to ask you, do you want to live, or would you rather die and become Swamp Thing again? And Alec Holland says, I didn't have the choice last time. This time I choose life. And John Constantine walks away, the end. That is the long story short. The only funny thing was, Cranius actually turns out to have been, big spoiler, the scientist here. I don't know why Deadman's on the cover. Deadman played no part in this entire issue at all. Here's Cranius. Here's the little cameo by Cranius. So I don't know why Deadman's on the cover. He did nothing in this entire issue. He absolutely did nothing. And this entire 3-part series was useless because we went all around in a big circle. John Constantine didn't kill anybody. He just is not becoming the new avatar for Swamp Thing. The end. The Aftermath was not even needed. You don't have to buy it. It's not a big deal. If you're a completionist like me that just wanted it for the Aftermath, for the whole Brightest Day thing, if you're not a completionist, this 3-part series was an absolute skip. There's no point to it. Swamp Thing didn't really even show up in this issue. It's all about Alec Holland and finding Alec Holland. You could skip it and wait for the reboot. It's not worth your money. I don't even know why I bought it. Oh yeah, I'm a completionist. Never mind. Batman Arkham City 5 of 5 came out for those of you Batman fans. If you're interested in the game, you're going to be buying this. The game is coming out in 2 more months. I am super excited. They're talking about skins for Robin for the multiplayer part, I believe. And the Catwoman thing is being produced. If you're interested in this, you'll be picking it up. If not, you won't. The artwork, as always, let me show you some artwork, is really cool. It ends with a the end, but once again, actually, I like this. In the middle of the book, you actually see the cameos from all the people that are going to be in the next Batman game. I love how they made the Riddler look this way. It looks weird. But there's Joker and there's Batman. Final page has Batman flying off. To be included in the game. It says the end for now, but yes, the game is where it really concludes. I am looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that indeed. So. Okay, we have 4 Flashpoint tie-ins, which I'm not going to go in any particular order. Hal Jordan, part 3 of 3. Hal dies in the end. The bomb was a success. It all leads into the final issue of Flashpoint. FlashPoint Kid Flash Lost, part 3 of 3. Ironic, they actually tried to copy Crisis on Infinite Earth. I'm going to show one part here. They really tried to copy Crisis back in 1986. They had basically, even though Kid Flash isn't dead and he is coming back, Kid Flash becomes White Flash, and what happened to the Flash in Final Crisis basically happened to Kid Flash here. He basically dies so that Flash can gain enough power to save the universe. To be concluded. Everything leads... I know, Mike, I have no idea. So basically they copied what happened to Barry Allen in Final Crisis and did it to Bart Allen this time. Stupid, repetitive, and retarded, in my opinion. Why copy something you did in 1986 by only changing a character to help fuel the character that did it in the first place? Beyond me. That's the only part I had any complaint or grievances with. Now these two went one right after the other. Lois Lane and the Resistance. At the end of this, you think Lois Lane gets shot. Wrong. It's to be continued in Superman, and the shot actually was Clark breaking through, or Cal, because he's not really Clark Kent here, breaking through the wall to save Lois, only to have lost her in the end because she dies when she gets caught between Project Superman and the actual Superman. And it's all to be concluded, guess where? Flashpoint 5. Out of all these tie-ins, I've got to be honest with you, Hal Jordan left me... Kid Flash was retarded, the ending. Lois Lane and the Resistance was okay. Project Superman was okay. Best one, in my opinion, was Abin Sur. What else? And Batman. Oh my god. I agree with Pete from Pete's Basement. By the way, you should be checking them out, because I actually finally caught up on everything from Pete's Basement. That was a good Elseworld story. It was awesome. What if it was Bruce Wayne that died instead of his parents? And that was, wow. Okay.
So pretty much, he didn't find his mom because his mom wasn't in hell.
Right. His mom actually went to heaven. The end. Okay, that's Wolverine she's talking about, by the way, which is going in its rightful place. Okay. Now, the rest of the DC comic books that had to have been concluded this week, so that the relaunch could happen next week. This series is not going to see the light of day anymore after this issue. Green Lantern Emerald Warriors, number 13. Long story short, somebody's killed at a space station, and Batman's involved because it was a close personal friend of his. Him and Guy Gardner do some detective work. You find out who the person is in the middle of the book, and then it's all about stopping him, stopping the station from crashing into the Earth, and saving the crew. All that gets accomplished. And the cliche, everybody knows this takes another thing, and it brings it full circle. In the past, Batman punched Guy Gardner and knocked him out in one punch. And they kind of cliched it where Batman punches the other guy. He's like, did you know that when your friend, or when this guy was, when I was killing him, he da-da-da-da, and Batman punches him, and even the Guy Gardner says, one punch, and he says, you had to say that, didn't you? And he says, yep, the master of obvious, and then Flashpoint at the end. So, Emerald Warriors is done. I think it was a good final issue, especially with the whole Guy Gardner and Batman, the whole issue coming full circle. Pretty awesome. And that's it. It was going to end anyway, I believe, because DC only wanted to do about 13 issues. Batman The Dark Knight, number 5. And then it's going to get rebooted back to number 1. We just made it to 5, and we're going back to 1. We're going to be in 5 in another 5 months. It all concludes here. Long story short, Dawn gets captured. Batman tries to convince Etrigan that this woman, Mistress Blaze, or Lady Blaze, is not going to really give him back his power, that he's just basically her slave. She calls him a slave, and it cuts off to where Dawn is, And then out of nowhere, Etrigan and Batman show up. Basically, Etrigan told Blaze she can go F off. And they try to save Dawn. They, spoiler, are not successful. But the guy does not get resurrected by killing his daughter. And basically, Batman and Etrigan win. You find a scene with that little girl again, where she actually shows up and gives away a Wayne Tech to the gang that threatened to kill her father. And it turns out, big spoiler, Batman is the one that actually gave it to the little girl to give to them. And now he's like, they have the device my servant gave you? She says yes. He says, then they're about to get me. And unfortunately, we're not going to see any more of the story because reboot, redo. Not even 5 issues in and it's getting a redo. I just got issue 1 about 7 months ago. Now I'm going to get another issue 1.
5 months ago.
No, this is late. Batman the Dark Knight was delayed a few months. It's been about 7 months out, approximately.
Are you sure they're not going to give you the next 2?
No, that's it. It's over. And another thing is there's another issue in this Teen Titans 100. Let's do that. There's a future issue that was not, I'll tell you in a second. In this issue, we find out what's in that box Superboy took back from Cassie. It turns out it was a kryptonite dagger, just in case he ever went again. It was a way to stop him. Sorry, your foot was in my way. It was an accident. So they use it against the 3 cloned Superboys. Please check that. Make sure nothing happens. And they kill all 3 Superboys. And then it's all about taking out Superboy Prime. The whole issue is all about the epic fight between Superboy Prime and the people he's brought to Earth.
She just ran in the room, hopped on your bed, and fell asleep.
Okay. They basically, this was the best way, and I think they should have done this from day 1. Huge spoiler. They don't kill Superboy Prime. They don't put him anywhere. They don't put him in a different universe. They just stick him right on the source wall. Thank you. Couldn't remember the word. And if you're stuck on the source wall, you're stuck there forever. And ever. And ever. And ever. And then I love this epic picture of the current day Teen Titans. And then the next few pages are art by different people. This is what I'm talking about. This issue is never going to happen now. There was a teaser. There was a teaser where Aqualad was supposed to join the Teen Titans as well. And that doesn't happen now because redo. So turns out Aqualad probably isn't going to be part of the whole Aqualad arc isn't going to happen. At least not now. Maybe in the reboot it'll happen. But anyway, yeah. So it gets redoed. Yeah. Okay, Superman Beyond #0. Another series that's really not going to go anywhere. It takes place after Superman Batman Annual 4. Superman's not on Earth. He debates on whether he wants to come back or not. He does. And there's this guy called Armageddon. I hope I'm saying his name right. And that's basically Superman's whole return was against him. And he's debating, maybe I'm too old for this. Don't let the cover art fool you. The internal artwork is really good. I'm going to try to find a good picture of Superman. And basically Superman takes them out and he returns to his role as Superman. And also he joins Jimmy Olsen, who runs the Daily Planet, now as a reporter again. And even though the guy... the fight was epic, and in the end the guy actually tried to stab Superman, and does, but Superman still ends up saving him, and the guy's kind of like, why would he do that? They don't know. And then the last page is all about him and Bruce Wayne having a heart-to-heart moment, and then it's the end, because reboot. So Superman Beyond, a series that never happened, it only got an issue 0. But then again, I think it was only supposed to be a one-shot anyway. They just called it an issue 0 for no apparent reason. Unless, in the new year, they're probably going to make it. They might do it. Hey, they can still do it, Superman Beyond. Why not? The costume's different already. You can't really, you don't have to worry about rebooting the costume. Costume's already different. So maybe in the year 2012 we'll see a Superman Beyond 1. I hope so. Knock wood.
Why can't you say yes?
That is the new S.
I don't see an S.
You don't have to see an S. It's a futuristic S.
And by the way, you didn't knock him. You're knocking the wood. Once again, your hand's not reaching up high enough to knock.
Doesn't matter. It's shaking. It's shaking Swamp Thing. Be quiet. So that's Superman
Sorry,
beyond
Swampy.
issue 0. Now, I originally ordered the incentive cover, but either it sold out or it was a mix-up at Midtown Comics, where I get all my comics, by the way, and I actually sent them a message. Maybe they'll send me my incentive cover. Action Comics 904, the final Action Comics, before they reboot it. They've got a set to reboot Action Comics. They never rebooted Action Comics number, but they're doing it. Superman was not killed in the last issue. He was absorbed by the computer in the ship. And it turns out that the Doomslayer enslaved the ship. Ship. There's a ship there.
I heard something else. I wanted to make sure you were saying ship. Go ahead. Finish.
You know, there's a hurricane going on out there. You ever want to experience 90-mile-an-hour winds?
Sure, I'll be Supergirl. But I won't be
careful
landed.
for those landings. Anyway, in this issue, the computer basically explains how it was enslaved by the Doomslayer. The Eradicator is rapidly and furiously losing control of the Doomsday. So they are fighting all the other Doomsdays, and they drop them in the hole in the ocean. And Superman confronts the Doomslayer and frees the ship and sends it on it sends it through an interdimensional teleporter, which will send it back from where it came from, because Lex Luthor, it turns out, was the one that sent it to their universe in the first place. So there's lots of morals, lots of awesome little tidbits that I'm sure a lot of people will say are cliche and, you know, da-da-da. But yeah, no, they drew Supergirl really well.
Yeah, they did.
But in the end, the Eradicator sacrifices himself to save Superman. He throws Superman out of the ship teleports off the end. Superman and Lois Lane have a huge heart-to-heart. By the way, the first picture of Superman was epic. I love the artwork here. Has a heart-to-heart talk with Superman about how his ideals are awesome. And you know what? People, read what Lois Lane says. Because you know what? I agree. Because that's what the real Superman is.
Oh, wow, they drew her nice, too.
They drew her very nice. She explains why Superman is the way he is, and how his example is a good example, and how he's taught them the right thing to do, and how Eradicator was basically doing what Superman would have done in the exact same situation with somebody else. So in other words, basically he says, I took a journey to find America, and with one speech from you above us all, about us all being in it together, basically, in other words, he journeyed all over America to find himself, but it only took one speech from Lois Lane. And I love the part where she says, now shut up and take me to bed. That was a good final line right there.
See, now you're getting it. It was, no, wait.
It was here all the time. He took a journey to find himself, but in the end...
She didn't say that at all. Don't you hear that?
Yeah, you gotta read the rest. Yeah, she did say that. And unfortunately, and despicably, reboot. The end. That's the end of Superman, Lois Lane. Enjoy this final picture of the married couple, because after this, they are no longer married. The end. Was a good, epic final issue of Action Comics. I had high hopes, and I know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I know that this series would have been good if they continued it on. I would have bought that. Teen Titans would have been awesome left alone, and Superboy left alone. Superboy was doing amazing. I don't think it's going to do that good anymore after this, because I'm probably going to drop it, because it looks like it's going to suck. And Action Comics especially was doing awesome. All they had to do was get away from the new Krypton bullshit. They did, and they delivered with this series. I'm sorry, for those of you who don't like cliche or too Boy Scout, you know, they don't like those Boy Scouting moments, then I'm sorry, this wasn't for you. But for people like me who grew up reading Superman, this was just right. Congratulations, Paul Cornell and Axel Jimenez. You delivered amazingly with the Doomsday, the Reign of the Doomsday series. Thank you. It was a pleasure reading this entire story. Unfortunately, though, you guys are getting kicked out because they're rebooting, and Grant Morrison is taking over Action Comics. Yep, Mike, you said it. He did great with All-Star Superman. Don't think he's going to do too well with Action Comics, but we'll see. I'll be reading, and I'll be biting my tongue on a few things, but I'll be completely honest on how I feel. Believe me, I'll be completely honest on how I feel. Once again, first of all, the Superhero Collection magazine with Blaze, whatever, Brightest Day, Blackest Night, issue 10, or magazine 10. I'm looking forward to the next one. I hope I get my hands on it. That's out of the way. Action Comics 904 was amazing. Superman Beyond issue 0, I'd say check it out. I know it's an extra $1, but in my opinion it was worth it. It was a really good little side one-shot read. Teen Titans 100 was wow and awesome. Look at all those names. Look at all these names. Huh?
It was $2 more for that one?
Yeah, this is a $5 issue. It's double-sized. Batman the Dark Knight issue 5, first story arc and only story arc until the reboot concluded. It was awesome. Awesome work, David Finch and Jason Fabok. Green Lantern Emerald Warriors issue 13. That's it. No more, but it ended on a pretty high note. Project Superman 3, Lois Lane the Resistance 3, Kid Flash issue 3, and Hal Jordan issue 3, all connected to FlashPoint, all up to you. I'm not telling you guys what to get when it comes to tie-ins. FlashPoint was reading all the tie-ins. This you didn't need. You just need FlashPoint. To be completely honest, unless you want backstory. Batman Arkham City issue 5 of 5. If you get in the game, you might want the backstory. Swamp Thing issue, the Brightest Day Search for Swamp Thing issue 3 of 3. You could skip this little mini-series. It was not worth it. Retroactive in the 90s. Superman and Green Lantern, both up to you guys. I highly recommend Superman just for John Bogdanoff in and of itself. Just for him alone, I would say get it. Green Lantern was also a good read, but I just really like Superman. X-Men issue 16 was awesome. Unfortunately, Spider-Man only on the first 2 pages, and then that's it. Wolverine issue 14 was really good. Uncanny X-Force issue 13 was pretty good. Dawkins, Dark Wolverine issue 13, not really much went on, but it was still good. Punisher issue 2.
Get it. Can't wait for issue 3. And also look forward to Punisher X episode 2 pretty soon.
Yes, FF number 8 back in present day. Get some fighting going on. Awesome. Has Spider-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1 cover A, D, C, B, and A.
No, that's D.
This is
A, C.
Oh yeah, I went backwards.
A, C, B, D.
I have them out of order. Hooray! But anyway, I would absolutely say comic book of the week from the indies was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's see, what do we have from Marvel this week? Comic book of the week from Marvel, I would dare say Punisher. Let's say Punisher for you,
Punisher.
Mike. Punisher for Mike. And comic book of the week for DC, I have a tie between 3. Superman Beyond 0, Action Comics 904, and Teen Titans 100. All 3 deserve to be the top picks for DC this week. So if you get nothing else, get those top picks at least. And that concludes this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. Wave goodbye, so you're already waving. And say goodbye, Stumphead. Both things you'll be seeing on future comic book reviews. 5 episodes away from episode 100. First week of October. Say goodbye, Amber, because I know you're just sitting there waving. See you guys soon in another Dark Avenger comic book review. Once again,
pray.
this tornado or hurricane or whatever it is not going to destroy this house, and it's not going to destroy my will or my capacity for collecting comic books. The end.
Mike.
By the way, it's a little update since I have a little bit of time. I'm guessing I'm only at about 20 minutes.
24.
Oh, there you go. I've sent a few questions out for the podcast idea I had. I got a few maybes, no yeses yet. So hopefully I'll be able to work it out with a few people later on. Once again, guys, check out that update video. Big stuff. I'm trying really hard to get us comic reviewers, our community, a little bit closer. It's not just for a video series. It's actually just to get us guys closer too, to maybe create a little bit of a comic book community where we, even if it's just like, hey, how you doing? How's your family? How's your mom? How's your grandma? Whatever. That's still cool also. I wouldn't mind going on and saying, hey, what's up, man? How's your family doing? What's going on? What are you planning to get next week in comic books? How's life treating you? It's always good to make friends and to stay close friends, especially in a community like ours. We have a really awesome comic book community, if I do say so myself, and a lot of other people agree with that and say that all the time. Midtown Comics, where I get all my comics. I am going to fix my front page or my channel at some point where I'll have links to every single comic book company that I buy from: DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, etc. Radical. Boom, maybe not. I don't have Boom. I only buy like 3 comics from Boom. No, not Boundless.
Lady Death.
That's you. Anyway, I'm going to be working around the front page a bit.
You're leaving Lady Death out?
No, I'm leaving Boundless out because I don't buy anything from Boundless.
Lady Death is...
Anyway, see you guys next week. For those of you who are in the way of this hurricane, I hope, I wish you the best. In God's will, you're all okay. God's will, I'll be okay, and this house will be okay, and we will see you next week.
This comic review will go up.
Yes. And this comic review was approved by 5 Left to Go. Johnny 5. It was approved by him. Johnny, stop being for you, Johnny. Anyway, it's Johnny 5 approved. Now get out of here. The end. Go home. Enjoy some comics. I'll see you guys soon.
Enjoy your Pepsi.
Damn right. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, and have a pleasant, peaceful, and safe tomorrow. See you guys in videos soon. Also check out the people I've told you guys to check out in my update video. See you guys soon.